Hello everyone, myself Tai Ere working as a lecturer in Institute of Pharmaceutical Science and Research for Girls. Today I will discuss about the methods of powder mixing. In that we have seen the type of powder mixing and discuss one by one in detail. First one is mechanical mixing, then hand mixing. In hand mixing, first one is spatulation, then trituration, tumbling, etc. Spatulations means use spatula with tile. Then trituration, use mortar and pestle. Then tumbling, in this wide mouth closed container is used for tumbling. I will discuss one by one. First one is mixing of powder. Large scale mixing equipment. The ideal mixer should first produce a complete blend rapidly to avoid product damage. Next, it should be cleaned and discharged easily, be dust tight, then require low maintenance and low power consumption. Then the small scale mixing equipments. In this, first one is mortar pestle, then spatulations, then triturations, geometric dilutions, sifting and tumbling. First one is mortar and pestle means triturations. In this, the pharmacist most generally employs the mortar and pestle for the small scale mixing. The mortar and pestle method is single operation, thus it is particularly useful where some degree of particle size reduction as well as mixing is required, as in the case of mixture of crystalline material. Triturations used for both purposes, that is to reduce particle size and to mix the powders. If particle size reduction is desired along with mixing of a powder, a porcelain mortar with a rough inner surface is preferred to a glass mortar with smooth working surface. Then next one is small scale mixing equipment. Second, spatulation. In this, the blending of a powder with spatula on a tile or paper used sometimes for small quantities or when the mortar and pestle technique is undesirable. It is not suitable for large quantities of powders or for powders containing one or more potent substances, because homogeneous blending may not occur. Mixing of a powder is done by spatula on sheet of paper or porcelain tile. Uses: first one is small amount of powder is mixing, then the solid substances that liquefy or form eutectic mixture. The spatulation method is not suitable for large quantities of powders or for powders containing one or more potent substances, because homogeneous blending may occur. Then the next one is sieving method. Sieving method is usually is employed as a pre or post mixing method to reduce loosely held agglomerates and to increase the overall effectiveness of a blending process. Then the tumbling. Powder is mixed in rotating chamber. Mixing is through but time consuming, mostly used in industry. Tumbling is the process of mixing of powder in a large containers rotated by an electric motor. These blenders are widely employed in industries as a large volume powder mixture. Then the next one is extemporaneous techniques, means geometric dilutions. Use of geometric dilution for the incorporation of small amounts of potent drugs. Geometric dilutions means this is used when potent substances are to mixed with a large amount of diluent. The potent drugs is placed upon an approximately equal volume of the diluent in a mortar, and the substances are slightly mixed by a trituration. Geometric dilution: entire quantity of potent drugs plus quantity of the diluents plus 2x volume of the diluents plus 4x volume of the diluents, repeated until all the diluents are used. Then the reduction of a particle size. All ingredients to the same ranges, sieving when necessary to achieve mixing or reduction of agglomerates, especially in powders into which liquid have been incorporated. Heavy trituration when applicable to reduce the bulkiness of powders. Triturations: a second portion of diluent equal into the volume of the powder mixture in the mortar to each step until all diluent is incorporated. Protection against humidity, air oxidation, and loss of volatile ingredients. Powders are prepared mostly common either as a divided powder or bulk powders. Dusting powders, dentifrices, insufflations. We will discuss first is divided powders. Are dispensed in the form of individual doses and generally are dispensed in papers properly folded. They also may be dispensed in metal foil, small heat sealed plastic bags, or other containers. After weighing, comminuting, and mixing the ingredients, the powders must be divided accurately into the prescribed number of doses in order to achieve accuracy consistent with the other steps in the preparations. Each dose should be weighed individually and transferred to a powder paper. Following completion of this step, the powder papers are folded. Powder papers. 4 basic types of powder papers are available. First one is vegetable parchment, then white bond, then glycine, and last one is waxed, means paraffin. First is vegetable parchment, a thin semi-opaque moisture resistant paper. Then the white bond, an opaque paper with no moisture resistant properties. Glycine, a glazed transparent moisture resistant paper. Then the waxed, a transparent waterproof paper. Hygroscopic and volatile drugs can be protected by using a waxed paper. double wrapped with a bond paper to improve the appearance of the completed powder. Parchment and glassine papers offer limited protection for these drugs. Then the bulk powders may be classified as oral powders, dentifrices, Dutch powders, dusting powders, insufficiency and triturations. Oral powders, these generally are supplied as finely divided powders of effervescent granules. The finely divided powders are intended to be suspended or dissolved in water or mixed with soft foods prior to administration. Antacid and laxative powders frequently are administered in this form. First one is dusting powder. These are locally applied non-toxic preparations that are intended to have no systematic actions. Requirements: first one is homogeneous and very fine. Second one, free from irritations. Then flow easily, have good covering capacity. Then have a good adsorptive and absorptive capacity. Then spread uniformly over body surface. Then adhere to skin surface after applications. Protect the skin from irritation caused by friction, moisture and chemical irritants. Applications of dusting powders. First one is medicated dusting powders may be applied either to intact skin or to open wound and mucous membranes. Then the powders applied to open wounds must be sterilized. Third one is particle size should be very small. It is better to be micronized or those passes through sieve number 100. Fourth one, highly soluble powders should not be used on areas exude large quantities of fluids to avoid hard crust formation. Then the functions of dusting powder: lubricants, protective, adsorbent, antiseptic, astringent and antiperspirant. Then the packaging of dusting powders: dispensed in sifter to cans or pressurized packs. Aerosols. Aerosols protect the powder from air, moisture and contamination and more convenient for application. Then insufflations. These are finely divided powders introduced into body cavities such as the ears, nose, throat, tooth, sockets and vagina. An insufflator's powder blower usually is employed to administer these products. However, the difficulty in obtaining a uniform dose has restricted their general use. Specialized equipment has been developed for the administration of micronized powders of relatively potent drugs. The norisodrine sulfate aerohaler cartridge Abbott is an example. In the use of this aerohaler, inhalation by the patient causes a small bore to strike a cartridge containing the drugs. The force of the ball shakes the proper amount of the powder free, permitting its inhalations. Another device, the spin inhaler, turbo inhaler, is a propeller drying device designed to deposit a mixture of lactose and micronized cromolyn sodium into the lungs as an aid in the management of bronchial asthma. A general purpose powder's blower or insufflator. The powder is placed in the vessels when the rubber bulb is depressed. Internal turbulence disperses the powders and forces it from the orifice. Powders may be delivered to various body locations such as the nose, throat, tooth sockets, or skin. Then the Dutch powders. These products are completely soluble and are intended to be dissolved in water prior to use as antiseptics or cleansing agents for a body cavity. They most commonly are intended for vaginal use, although they may be formulated for nasal, otic, or ophthalmic use. Generally, aromatic oils are included in these powders. Dispensing in wide-mouth glass jars serves to protect against loss of volatile materials and permits easy access by the patients. Then dentifrices. This may be prepared in the form of bulk powders, generally containing a soap or detergents, mild abrasive, and anti-carcinogenic agents. Then triturations. These are dilution of a potent powder drugs prepared by intimately mixing them with suitable diluents in the definite proportion by weight. They were at one time official as 1 to 10 dilutions. The pharmacist sometimes prepares trituration of poisonous substances, example atropine, in a convenient concentrations using lactose as the diluent for use at the prescriptions counter. The correct procedure for preparing such triturations or any similar dilutions of a potent powder medicament to ensure uniform distribution of the latter. That is, first one is reduce the drug to moderately fine powder in a mortar. Next, add about an amount of diluents and mix well by through trituration in the mortar. Successively add portions of diluent, triturating after each addition until entire quantity of a diluent has been incorporated. Under no circumstance should the entire quantity of the diluent be added at once to the drugs that is to be diluted. Uniform dispersion will be achieved. Thank you so much for watching my video.